Here we.
Yay. All right. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Oh, look at all these beautiful faces joining us. Hello, hello. Hi, Brenda, your hair looks beautiful as
Oh, thank
always.
you.
I don't know
Oh
what you
my
get, like you
gosh.
have a hairdresser come right
Wow.
before you get on these. I
I
know.
do.
Welcome, everybody. Hi, welcome, welcome to the Books That Save Lives Heart Wisdom panel. I'm super excited to see all of you today and to welcome our authors, Sue Patton Thoele and JJ Hubal. Hi, good to see you guys.
Here.
Today we're going to be talking about spirited aging, which I, for one, am super excited about because I think we're going to have some really great stories and tips and ideas. And for those of you who are maybe new to coming to these, we always have the authors share a lot in the first half, and then we open it up to questions or comments or whatever you want to share. So that'll be fun. So if you have questions, we welcome them. And one of the things that's special about today is that our lovely Sue has offered to start us with a meditation so that we can all kind of get grounded, and take some breaths, and then we'll officially start after that. Sue.
Okay. All right. Let's just do just exactly what Sherry just said. Let's close our eyes if you feel comfortable doing that and allow yourself to bring all your energy from whatever places it may have been snagged back into right now wherever you are, whether you're seated probably, and just imagine that there's a root growing down from the end of your spine gently and easily, and it just spreads out and attaches to all the other roots that we all are putting out. So we're all kind of holding hands and rooting at the same time. Just imagine that in your mind's eye. And then allow your attention to come up, almost like sap rising, up to what some teachers call the sacred hub of all, and that is our heart. And you may want to just touch your heart, put your hands over where it is, thank it. It is absolutely the most valuable, steady friend you have. Breathe into it. Now allow your energy to go back down to your roots and up and out of the top of your head, connecting with the energy of all and the sacred beings that are always around us, wanting to be with us, help us, guide us, laugh with us, show us good stuff, so that we are connected and grounded. And then just when you feel you want to, allow yourself to open your eyes.
Sue, thank you.
You're welcome.
I loved what you did with about all the roots connecting to one another. I feel that. And I thought that was just such a beautiful imagery. And also such a lovely imagery associated with aging in a way, right? Because I feel as if, I don't know if this is true scientifically, but I'm just going to say it, that the roots spread out more, right? That our connections are stronger as we age. I'm going to go ahead and claim that as a truth. So again, welcome, welcome. I see Karen's joined us since we first said hello. Hi, Karen. Good to see you. Um, so as always, we're going to go ahead and start by having our authors introduce yourself and hold up your book. And if you would, Sue, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
If you also would share with us maybe one practice that you're using right now to help yourself age more spiritfully?
Well, it's kind of an old practice and everybody knows about it, but I really do try to pull myself back into the now because the what's not now really isn't, period. And what is now is often magical and wonderful and uplifting. Like this morning, just to set the stage, yesterday there was a heart-crushing, sad thing that happened and in my cul-de-sac. And there we were all mourning. Um, and I just felt the need to get back. Well, I let myself cry for, I don't really cry, but I just sobbed and did all that, nose running and sounds and so forth last night. And then today I thought, I really love being happy and being full of joy. So when I took Zoe out, my little dog, I just practiced that being in the moment. And I was gifted with, first of all, a heron, the most different heron I have ever seen in my life. It had a white blaze on its head down to its beak. And I meant to look up what heron means, but I didn't. So you guys may know that. And then I ran into a neighbor I haven't seen for a long time. One neighbor came out and said, "I just want to hug you because of yesterday." And just lots. And I saw a heart rock in a place I've walked over thousands of times and hadn't seen. So
Oh,
when you're in the moment, when I'm in the moment, then I can catch joy like a butterfly net. But if I'm not in the moment, if I'm out of it, then it's harder,
oh,
especially when really hard stuff happens. And I kind of lived in a life that really hard stuff happens every day now. So
mhm.
yeah,
Wow, Sue. Wow. First of all, yeah, sorry for whatever happened yesterday. And yeah, and the hard stuff every day. But you're such a bright blossom, especially when you showed up today. I was like, she's such a flower for us. I love that. And you do always bring joy. And you also bring the all of it, like you just did, which I so appreciate about you. I think you have your new book cover to show
I
us.
do. I do. It's whoops, there it is. I
There
don't
it
have
is.
books yet, but I have the cover. Yeah. Yeah,
It
that
looks
was fun. It was a lot of fun to go back through it and revisit it. Yeah.
And I know Sue and most of the people here do probably already know, and I know Macklin's been posting that you have a lot of books. Do you want to tell us anything in particular about releasing this one again?
Just that it was a lot of fun to go through it again. And it was very timely because, as I say, my life is complicated and grief filled and frustrating as hell. So um, I really I can stand having reminders big time.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Yeah. And thank you, Macklin, for posting the links in the chat for us all. Um, and JJ, hello. I'm going to ask
Hello.
you, I'm going to ask you the same question about any particular practice right now that's really supporting you?
Well, I feel like Sue and I are two bodies in the same body because uh, really liking her feel your roots idea because I heard a phrase recently that said it's wonderful when words, or in this case, they were talking about images, are both personal and universal all at once. And then you can glean what you want from them. But the now idea, which is as old as humankind, is just key, and it picks up speed, in my opinion, as you age, because the amount of loss and change becomes exponentially much faster. And so while you don't like it necessarily, you might as well embrace it.
Oh,
Because to me, the biggest uh, barrier to any possibilities or any joy or any happiness is in being in a state of wanting the past, longing for the past, or worrying about the future. And there you sit. And I do something, I did it today because I didn't sleep well last night, and then I will make myself get up, and you're going to just live a normal day and not keep thinking about that you didn't sleep and all the problems that comes with. And living in Savannah, which Macklin has been many times, it's stunning. And you walk out the door and you are underneath live oaks that arch and Spanish moss. And it's very warm and humid right now, but it isn't really hot. And it's like walking through a womb or something, I imagine. And it's just beauty everywhere. Little ironwork on a gate, or you can hear a bird call. It's just absolutely everywhere. And I just kept giving thanks spontaneously for being, life is tough, but it's to wherever you are. But I'm so grateful. I've lived in beautiful places, and I've lived in places that weren't so great to have tough life. But this one is something I had never really even imagined. It was my bold step, moving cross country and coming here. And I'm grateful every day, because no matter what has happened, like the cause that I didn't sleep, there's always a cause. I can walk out that door and just soak in beauty, and you simply cannot maintain your negative, worried attitude. It's virtually impossible, even for a worrier like me who can make a mountain out of a molehill. So I just really echo Sue's. I don't think of it only like her. I don't think of it as a practice so much. It's just a way of being.
Yeah.
All you have to do is step out, which is the great metaphor for everything, isn't it? Just step out and the step will appear, and you never know who you're going to talk to or who you're going to see. And yeah, even the other day I did it, and I had minimal contact with a woman I barely knew, and I handed her something. And she said, I needed this so much. And she started to cry, and she grabbed me. And I thought, you just never know what's in another person. I mean, Sherry, it's what you write about all the time. And so
Wow.
but if you give off that energy, people will, it sounds like a cliche, but it's true. Yes, there's no other way. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Right?
You too have brought such poetry already. I love
Aren't
this.
we?
Already,
Yeah.
I feel the spiritedness. And JJ, I know you've got your book there, right, too. Would you please, so we can see your beautiful, I love your book cover.
Mhm. And
Goodbye, old. Hello, bold.
here it
And
is, the joyful leap into a world of new possibilities as we age. And I'm realizing this, I'm getting more into the visual, as because readers value it, and which shocked me because it's easy for me. And
uh-huh.
and more, that is the people's response is to these drawings that are all through. And I think, really? Because they're very simple. I just do them by hand. I don't use AI, and which is, I guess, something now. I draw very tiny, 3.5-inch square. Everything I do is 3.5-inch square. Even if it ends up this big, it started, I'm sorry, that's it. That's the extent of my ability, but if it's real tiny. So, but yeah, they can be powerful. So yeah, I look at that and think, wow, that really does look joyful. You're jumping off the world and into something exciting. So,
I love it. I love it. And both Sue and JJ are going to share a little from their books with us. But I wanted to turn, Karen, I we didn't think you were going to be able to join us today. Somehow magically we have you here. Can I put you on the spot and have you talk about your upcoming book?
Oh, sure. I'll get
I'm
a copy of it and hold it up. Hang
all
on.
right. Yeah, you're like our special guest appearance. I think originally you weren't available.
No, and actually, it was only at the last minute that my other plan got changed. But
Well,
here's my
lucky,
book, and
lucky us.
it's called Peaceful Aging. And actually, this is a daily meditation book, so that you just only read, of course, a page a day. But I think that aging, we're all aging, regardless of what age we are. And because so often write about the spiritual pathway, this book is very much a spiritual pathway book. And it's really just saying for each day, how can I make this day live up to not just my expectations, but how can I make this day bless me and in the process bless all those other people that I encounter on my journey today. So it's really not just for me, but it's for me and anybody else I encounter. And because I really do think that it's important to remember that there are no accidental encounters, that those people we intersect with on this journey, it's very intentional. And so this book is really offering suggestions, not suggestions in the sense of here's something you ought to do, but suggestions in the sense of, this might feel good to try this, to try this. This is an opportunity that might just feel good to you. And I know that everything that I wrote in this book really came from my own heart and hopefully will reach the hearts of every reader. So those are just a few of the words about this book. I said about this book, I think, I've written a few books at this time in my life, and I think that this might be the best book I've ever written. And partly I say that because I'm gotten up there in years. I'll be 87 in July. And and that's an old bird. I'm an old bird. Uh, but and I want to say just because, and this is just a totally extraneous comment, but I want to hold up a medallion that I received. For those of you who don't know me at all, I am a recovering alcoholic and have been, and I received this medallion on Saturday for 50 years in AA.
Oh,
So yeah,
Karen!
it was really quite a wonderful event on Saturday to receive this medallion. But that's why my pathway has been spiritual all these years, because to be in recovery, you really need to fold into your life a spiritual understanding, a spiritual blessing. And so I feel like this book, even though it's not about recovery at all, this book really does pull together the ideas that I have cherished for years and years and years. So that's, I think, why I have said I think it's the best book I've ever written, because it isn't just about aging, but it's about aging peacefully. And we all want to do that. We all want to age peacefully, regardless of how old we are. Um, so at any rate, that's enough from me for now.
Well, Karen, I'm going to have Sue and JJ both are going to read a little from their books. If you have something after they read, we'd love to hear a little something from yours too. Okay.
Okay, I'll read one of the meditations.
Yeah. Let's
Okay.
go back. First, we'll go back to Sue, then we'll go to JJ, and then we'll have you read, Karen. And oh, but before we do that, Brenda, did you want to say anything? Hello.
Hello. Well, I've been listening and feeling very blessed, but something that everyone, JJ and Sue, and then also Karen, have talked about is being present in the moment, like walking out the door, even after a bout of insomnia and seeing beauty, and Sue having like something very upsetting happen that her whole her neighbors were upset by it as well. And then she goes out in beauty and finds like a heart-shaped rock in her path and all the blessings. And Karen like, saying like, every day is an opportunity to create peace within and peace outside of you, to bring that peace in the present moment. So I was just feeling, actually, I was basking in their wisdom.
Oh, I love that. I was basking too. I'm feeling, I know we're just, hardly even have been here 20 minutes or so, and I feel more peaceful. I feel more spirited. I feel more bold, JJ. It's like almost like a what do they say, like a transference. When you have people who live what they teach, I think that's what happens. I've heard people talk about that, when they're with the Dalai Lama, for instance. You just feel that piece. And I feel like we've got some amazing teachers who really walk the talk. And I think I love that, Brenda, that you said that. I feel it too. Yeah. Yeah. Duncan, did you want to say hello?
Hello. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really glad Karen spoke up about her medallion because I was thinking about that all this month and just how impressive that is. I know uh, when I began a similar journey, it was really hard, and I wouldn't be where I am today without that program. So I'm just really pleased that you made it, Karen.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Duncan.
Well, just in case, I just realized, in case anybody's here now or later watching this who may not know, Brenda and Duncan are the two co-founders of Books That Save Lives. So I just wanted to make sure I said that out loud. I forget because we most of us know you, but just in case anybody doesn't. So yeah, welcome. So let's go back, Sue. I know that you've brought something for us to hear. It's a good time for you.
Yeah, but I'm not going to read it.
What are you gonna do?
I've decided that the two things that I think I want to stress about aging is, for me anyway, is that there is almost constant grief. However, I believe that grief is just one of the very best teachers we could ever have. And I wrote this little poem a couple of days ago, and I just wanted to share it, and then another little thing that I've got. Grief can alchemize souls and soften hearts into healing springs of empathy and compassion. And I think that's one of the joys and the privileges of aging, is we've just been honed, and we're kind of past that chaos of alchemy and more into the gold, as I see it. And I was just thinking today that a lot of the things that I know now are things that I learned in the past and tried to know, but the years that have accumulated have actually created a knowing, a kind of like a well of knowing that just sort of gives me what I need when I need it, without the effort of, oh my God, I've got to learn this, and so forth. And the other thing is, I think my first book was entitled The Courage to Be Yourself. And of course, the reason I wrote that is because I didn't have it. And that's, as I age, and I'm just Karen's age, little younger, but not much, and is that I find it so much easier to just be real. And the thing I wrote down for real was realistically, enthusiastically accepting life. And to me, if I can just keep with that, I have it up on my bathroom mirror, but realistically, enthusiastically accepting life. And that's one of the huge gifts that aging has done for me. Yeah, because I had such a compulsion to be a nice girl. And just today, when I was talking to a neighbor about the situation from yesterday, I just told him, I'm kind of a dyed-in-the-wool optimist. So, and he responded, and I responded, fucking yay. Just because that was what I wanted to say. And he laughed, and so it just, for me, those two gifts are the gift of the honing and the alchemization of grieving, and the gift of being so much more able to be real.
Wow. I feel like we just received a master class, right? In that small amount of time. That was so beautiful.
You're so fun. You're so
You're
cute.
so- Listen, I want to ask you if you would please share what that poem that you read at the very start just now
Mhm.
about grief.
Yeah.
I wanted to hear it again if that's okay.
Okay. Grief can alchemize souls and soften hearts into healing springs of empathy and compassion. Here it is on a little yellow sheet of paper, like lots of my writing.
And I also want to say, I love that you just like, this is a perfect example of you being you. You were like, I am not going to read what I told you I was going to read. I'm going to do my own thing. And hallelujah. I love
Yeah,
it.
it just felt better.
Yeah, I love it. You're great teaching for all of us, right? I love that. Thank you. JJ, you can do whatever you want to do too. This is like,
Hey, I'm getting in this club. I don't know if Karen was here when I said I'm turning 80 this year, but I really like the company I'm keeping. That's lovely. It's wonderful and all true. And I love what Sue said in a way. I'm going to paraphrase it, so I'm not trying to attribute it to her, but just the idea that I always apologized for facing reality. People see it as negative, and that's all they see. And when I wrote this book, because I was at an incredibly negative place, and that's all I could see, hopelessness and whatever. And I see it now as absolutely the necessary first step to clear out your heart, your wallet, your calendar, your soul, to let something else in. And I think until you do that, nothing can come in. And a long time ago, I was thinking of just myself, but different people would say things in life, and I would remember them forever. And one time somebody said, image control takes so much energy. And I thought, that's what happens when you're older. You either get your act together and get vulnerable, or life will do it for you. And it will humble you and make you open. But it's so much better if you choose it and cooperate, even if, for me, kicking and screaming and mostly like whining a lot of whining. I did not want it. And once you just give in, then, oh, look at this, stuff is coming. And so that's, as I just love, whether it's wearing down a veneer or dropping the image, but it's all about this stuff that sounds so cliche and mundane, but it's just universally true, is just drop it and watch what comes in. You're not fooling anybody anyway. And I think the whole idea of people, that the word old now is, you're able to use it. There it is, shocking. And this was absolutely so taboo in pretty much all media. And the more you fight that, I saw a man who has a very positive aging podcast. And that was his whole thing, all that energy going into fighting something, trying to come up with a better word, senior, golden, something. And I thought, no, I'm old, but that means I have to change what that means.
yeah.
And if it means that I get to do this brand new things and these exciting things and that I could never do when I was younger, and whether it's sage wisdom or you just quit fooling yourself, because it's not working. So yeah, I just think that loss and embracing it's going to come anyway. But can I read a couple of pages? Because
Please do.
mine are easy. They're visual. The whole thing is visual. And that I'm realizing as I study the whole power of visualness and cartoons and so on, because people keep responding, is that it breaks down people's barriers to sensitive material. And that literally your brain absorbs it instantly, whereas words go through many filters. So if this wasn't on the cover and all you saw is Joyful Leap, you'd imagine whatever you imagine. When you see that, instantly, you get it, not fully, but it sets the tone. So that's how it starts, is exactly how it started for me. Was not a book. I was not bold. I'm still not bold. And I'm finding, because I do a lot of public speaking, that resonates with audiences very much, because they're coming in feeling not bold either. So it says, I truly don't understand how this happened. One day I was young in this crib, goo goo gaga, went to bed, and there I am sleeping, or somebody is. When I woke up, now there's a walker with exclamation marks. They're shocked. Suddenly, that's how it happens. Without warning, you're there. Anyone who says it happens in a different way or that getting older is no big deal is a liar, liar, pants on fire. Getting older is a very big deal. And it's sort of like when Sue was saying her sentence to her neighbor, and I thought, oh, I have to soften that. And I thought, don't you dare. You just write this the way it's coming out, beginning to end, see where it goes, see what people think, see if it resonates. Don't change it, dress it up, soften it, or whatever else you think you're doing, because you're going to ruin it. It won't be authentic. You won't be able to do it. And even when I talked about going away from stuff is very necessary, that is, to me, the most important part is to face the things that are many things. It could be, yeah, my big hairdo is not coming back. I can't have Brenda's lovely, stunning, really magnificent hair. I had big hair. Forget it. This is it. And so my hairdo is not coming back, just like this poor guy. And then these things are not coming back. I spent forever wandering around a cemetery, whining and carrying on. And 6 years of doing that, and I noticed at the end they were all still dead. Not one of them came back alive due to my crying and sobbing and life isn't fair. And so I just think facing reality is step one. Don't see it as negative. It's not. Think of it as shaking that etch-a-sketch of life and it's blank. And now you can draw what you want to draw on it. So that's my sermon for this morning.
Holy cow. I don't know what you guys were doing before you got here.
Amen.
I was swearing, obviously.
Yeah. Sue was swearing, I'm preaching. What next? You know.
Oh my gosh, we just lucked out with, I just love, I mean, listen, if this is what spirited aging is about, bring it on, bring it on. I am a disciple already. I love it. Thank you both. And our surprise guest, Karen, do you want to read us something from your book, or you want to just do an act or whatever you want to do?
Well, they are both very hard acts to follow, I'll tell you. So I think the simplest thing for me to do is to simply read one of the meditations. And I think I'll just read the one for today, May 27th. And each meditation starts with a quote from somebody. And this quote is from Julian of Norwich. And it's "All shall be well," a quote that I'm sure you're all familiar with. Julian lived in the 1300s, and her remarkable life is etched in the minds of millions because of her so famous quote, "All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well." It is the answer for all of us, regardless of whatever is hindering our journey through life. And most of us have been hindered by something as we have aged. Perhaps a serious health challenge hasn't tripped you up, but the loss of a good friend or a family member has set you back for a time. Getting older is bound to cripple our steps in some way, but nothing has to stop us completely in our tracks until our journey is done. As Julian reminds us, all shall be well. But what does well actually mean? I don't think it means we won't face barriers and setbacks. What I think it means is that we are always in forward motion until our purpose on this planet is fulfilled. Julian died when it was her time, and all was well until that moment. The same is true for us. All shall be well always. Today is bound to offer us exactly what we need. If what comes pinches a bit, we are ready for it, and we will get to the other side. After all shall be well forever. And, you know, I have been a lover of meditation and meditation books. The very first book I wrote was published back in 1982, and it was a daily meditation book for women in recovery from alcoholism, and it was called, my gosh, it suddenly went out of my head, Each Day a New Beginning.
Yeah.
And that has been around for more than 40 years. It celebrated its 40th anniversary about 4 years ago, actually.
Wow.
And since that time, I have written many other books, and a number of them meditation books. And meditation books have been a real love of my life because, we don't all of us have time to sit and read for great periods of time, but most of us have enough time to sit down and read for 3 or 4 or 5 minutes and then just quietly sit and let what it is we read just kind of dwell in our minds for a while. And I think that that's what's so appealing to me about the meditation book, that it really is a way um, to just soften our journey. And all the meditation books, and I've written other books besides meditation books, but all the meditation books that I have written at one level or another have had as their focus a way to just make our journey more pleasant, to make our journey easier to embrace. And so that's what I really tried to do with this book. And when I say try to do it, I never think, and I don't know how the other two authors here, Sue and JJ, I don't know your writing, how you approach it, but I don't ever stop and think about what I'm going to say. I just sit down and whatever comes out, comes out. I just sit at my computer and my fingers just seem to move across the keys. And so I feel as though I have this companion that's
Wow.
that visits me and actually is the writer for whatever I'm end up writing. And so for me then to sit down and read something, it's like, oh my goodness, it feels as though it's a real gift to me as well, because it didn't feel like it came from me. It came from this companion who has traveled with me for ever since I came into recovery, actually 50 years ago. So, I just feel so grateful that that I was selected to spend my life doing what I have spent my life doing. I had no idea that this was the journey I was going to be making. When I came into recovery, it was as a result of the end of a relationship, the end of a marriage. I came into recovery. I had no idea that my life was going to be as a writer, but I ended up in working on my doctorate at the University of Minnesota and discovered that I had this companion all through graduate school. It was the same experience all through graduate school that I have had with all the books that I have written. It was as though this companion was very present and writing everything right along with me. And I don't know if that's a familiar feeling to you guys, JJ and Sue, but my feeling is that probably that's familiar to most writers. We just sit and the visitor comes. And I feel as though the visitor has been with me from the beginning of time. And this particular book, I feel, as I said, I feel like it maybe is the best thing I've ever written. But you know what? I've said that about all 32 books. So I think really, but this one speaks to my heart the most right now because at my age, what I want is to continue aging peacefully. And I feel as though I am succeeding with that hope and that dream that I am aging peacefully. And that doesn't mean that I don't have some struggles with my life. I've got a number of health challenges that I'm dealing with currently. But that's to be expected as we age. But as Julian of Norwich says, all will be well. And that's exactly how I'm approaching every day of my life, just with that that belief of having her hands right here on my face.
Oh.
Karen, all will be well. So thank you for letting me share.
Mm, phenomenal. Wow. Oh, thank you so much. All will be well. All will be well. I'm going to keep saying that to myself for the rest of my days. Thanks to you today, Karen. That's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Brenda, I know you had something you wanted to jump in with. Hello.
I did. I wanted to share an example of spirited aging, and then I wanted to say something about Sue's upcoming book. So I've mentioned Ruth Weiss, like the great poet, in a few heart wisdoms. She was a Holocaust survivor as a child, was on the last train out, and she and her parents made it to America, and then she eventually came to San Francisco and was at the very heart of um, the beat poet scene for like 60 years, I think, actually. Yeah, at least 60 years, if not more. But when I was just ruminating on spirited aging, and an image of her dancing at a honky tonk in North Beach came into my mind. She was, I mean, like, she was in her 80s and like had pink and orange hair and like always like dressed really wildly. Like, well, she had the look of the beat poet, of course. And in the last decade of her life, she had a boyfriend that was 37 years younger than her.
Oh,
Yeah, and like at first, like some of like she and I became really good friends after working on Women of the Beat Generation. And at first, like some of us were taken aback, but then we got used to it really quickly. And he was around like for the poetry readings, and he was a musician. But my favorite thing would be like after the poetry reading, after like getting coffee or whatever, a glass of red wine or whatever, she would want to go dancing, and like I would take little videos of them like dancing for hours. So I just wanted to give a shout out to like that kind of like poetic spirited aging. Um, and Ruth Weiss is it remains an inspiration to me. What a badass. And
ah,
then I wanted to say that I approached Sue to do a new edition of the Woman's Book of Spirit because I had read it the first version like a couple of times. I like a lot of doses of Sue's wisdom in my weeks. And this book in particular, like my take on it is that it's like you can replenish yourself, like specifically women. We so often put ourselves last, the family first, like the husband first, like the kids, the job, the friends, like the neighbors, like the dog, and we're on the back of our own bus. And so this book is like how to replenish, like the woman at the well who can replenish her well. And I felt that like we, especially women, need that now, like more than ever, because we're just being drained by life and the news and difficulty and loss and everything. And so I'm just so grateful for all of these books. And I just wanted to sort of, you know, give a shout out to Sue's book that I think is the timing is impeccable. It's so needed.
ah, I agree. I agree. I echo that entirely. Yeah. I mean, all three of these books are just so needed right now. And I know we've touched on this, but I want to go just a tad deeper. I'm currently here with my mom, who's 88, and as we've, heard throughout this hour, there's griefs that are happening every day as we all age, right? I mean, I'm seeing it in my own life in my 60s, and I can imagine, as my mom has been saying, almost everyone that she has loved is passing away or has passed away. And so I'm going to come back to you first, Sue, and then we'll go to JJ and Karen and anybody else who wants to jump in. But like, I'm curious about like, Sue, you did kind of speak to it, but if you have any more to say about finding that joy interwoven with the grief and the loss, finding that spiritedness amidst, what is also, grief.
Yeah, probably I'll just go back to what has been my motto forever and ever, and that's live gently with yourself and others. And last night, in the grief that I was experiencing, I said, I called to my mother. My mother has been dead 40 years, but I have a little teddy bear that I gave to myself one Christmas because I had 4 kids and not that many presents, although I gave a lot. So I gave this little teddy bear. And then when mother was ill, I gave it to her just to keep me a little closer. And then I have it. And so I slept with it last night.
Oh,
And I think for me, it's been a matter of accepting how I feel when I feel that way. And yesterday was horrible. And my heart was broken and on so many levels. And it was just interesting to me that I called for my mother. And the other thing I want to say is that I am younger at 86 than I have ever been.
wow.
It has taken me this long to grow young
Oh,
in the kind of good way we think of it. Carefree, I'm not carefree, my life is not, but it feels that way.
yeah.
And I just think one of the major reasons that is because I am so kind and gentle to myself, no matter if I'm icky, which I can be really icky. Yeah.
Oh, Sue, thank you. Thank you. Wow, it's so beautiful. I mean, again, I can't say this enough about all of you that it's like walking your talk, right? I feel like, I've heard you say live gently with yourself, but I've also many, many times, heard the stories of where you're actually putting that into practice in hard moments. Yeah, it's so beautiful. Thank you. JJ, how about you? What do you have to add to all of this?
I think that is a major change. And I think there's a sadness for me. I feel also like I'm on the brink now. It's not that I get it. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's just gotten let go, burdens that have just dropped off. And I'm sad just mathematically, I don't get to live it more than is a reasonable expectation. It's like nuts. I just figured this out. And
Oh,
it wasn't figuring, it was really having enough life experience to say what did and didn't work. And I think the key phrase there in what Sue said for me is without thinking about it, this is what I'm doing now, is feeling stuff rather than trying to fix it. And I always felt that I had to fix it. If it felt bad, I had to fix it. And then part of fixing is I don't want bad stuff, so I'll spend the other half of my time planning to fix it. And pretty soon there's no now at all. And so I also would never cry. I was in my 50s, I think, before I'm sure I boo-hooed as a kid, but never in front of anybody. And long ago, I wrote a beach book about what the benefits of living by the ocean. And one is it's so loud that you can walk by the ocean and just bawl your head off. And I would call out to my mother, and I swore my mother was there. And that is a connection. In fact, just as an artist, one thing I want to do is kind of honor that connection, I believe, by taking this little photograph. She had a very tough life, which I realize now as an old person. I look back and think I was so blind and selfish. I had no idea, but I want that strength of her mother who lived with the dirt floor and all of it. And then my mother, and I feel that almost through tree roots things. I feel that. And there's a photograph that one of the few that shows both my mother and myself happy. She's lifting me and I'm just a baby and we're both smiling. And I look at it and think, if we only knew what we were going to have to face, mother. And those two smiling women, it's heartbreaking. And yet I get to feel that connection. And so my last thought is, I went to a funeral years ago of people who had there was two professors, and they had an extremely disabled daughter. I mean, there was almost nothing that worked, blind and deaf and cognitive issues. And she died as a young adult. And they gave the most beautiful funeral. And the quote they used on the program was from Winnie the Pooh, a Milne. It said, "How lucky I am to have known somebody that I'm going to miss this much." And I always think of that when I see my mother lifting that smiling little kid that, thank God we didn't know what was coming up. But I'm grateful I have somebody I can miss that much. Not everybody does.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Thank you. Ah. Oh, Miss Karen, is there anything you want to add about this living with the grief and loss, as well as all of the love and joy?
Well, I was just sitting here totally amazed at what both Sue and JJ shared, and it was so beautiful, and I just kind of forgot myself in the process. So I'm not sure what it is I have to share, but I do think that the grieving process is not something that many of us do very well, and I think it's something that's very important for us to embrace. And I speak, when I say that, I speak of myself. I need to embrace the grieving process more than I have. I've been reading a book about grief in one of my book clubs, and it's a beautiful book, but I realize that I kind of push aside things. And I really think that grieving is about letting your heart be open.
Yeah.
It's about really allowing yourself to feel all there is to feel in regard to whatever it is you might be grieving, whether it's the loss of someone, whether it's a health challenge, whether it's um, an expectation that you're afraid isn't going to materialize, and you begin worrying about it. So grief can be many things. And I know that I personally want to do a better job of embracing grief simply because of the way I think it will enrich my life. Um, I didn't talk about grief really to speak of in this book, Peaceful Aging. And I'm sitting here thinking that's one of the areas that I should have really addressed more, I think, in this book, because because aging is about grieving.
Mm.
And at grieving one thing or another. And but to do it in a peaceful way, as I said, to do it in a way that we can really embrace fully what it means. And if I could redo the book someday, I would address it. And maybe I'll have to address it in my next book, Brenda. Maybe my next book will be about grieving.
Karen,
But
I loved, oh, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no, go ahead.
Well, I really loved, I think I'm not going to get this exactly correctly, but I believe what you said was that grief is about opening our hearts. Was that what you?
That
And
is what I said.
and I just really wanted to underscore that because I've been practicing a lot in my own life with, like, sometimes I replace the word love for grief, instead of like I'm missing this person or I'm grieving them, I love them, I love them, I love them. And just noticing the open-heartedness that is a little bit different than when it makes me feel more connected. And so I loved when you said that.
I think it's a lot. I think the open-heartedness, grief is a lot more than just being sad about something.
Yes.
It really is exposing ourselves fully to that loss, which I think really spells out what the depth of love is about. And so I really think that grief is another way of thinking about love. So.
Yeah. 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 And I love that you've got another book in you now. So, something else for us to look forward to.
Well, I am working on another book right now, in fact, too. So, until I'm done until Julian Norwich, until what she says has knocked on my door, I'm not done. I'll keep going. So I may still be writing at 95. Who knows?
Well, and right there, Karen, I mean, that's it, right? Like when I, was imagining this circle that we're having around spirited aging. Isn't that like summing it up? Like I'm gonna keep going. I'm just gonna keep going. And that means with the all of it, we've talked about a lot of that, like about all the stuff that comes in our later years, especially. But it's like keep going, keep going, keep going with an open heart.
I don't know what I would do if I weren't writing.
Hmm.
It's like I feel absolutely called to continue writing. So as long as the call is there, I will show up.
I love it.
The companion is knocking at my door saying, Karen, it's time to sit down at the computer.
I love it. We just have a few minutes left, and welcome, Kim. It was good to see you jump in. Hi, good to see you. We have just a few minutes left. Let me give and see if there's anybody who wanted to ask a question or comment before we have to close out the hour. Feel free if you do. And if no one does, I thought it would be great to invite our beautiful authors. If there's anything like a last encouragement or a last like, oh, I really wanted to say this, that you might have. Sue, was there anything that you feel like, oh, I really wanted to make sure we talked about this?
Something has come up, and that is
Okay.
that the Beatles song "Let It Be" has just I sang it like we could have played cribbage or something, JJ, because I was awake too. But I just sang it a lot. I don't only know the one little versey thing, but and the story is that what's his name? The one who wrote it, McCarthy, whatever his name is.
Paul.
Thanks, Paul. Said his mom came to him in a dream, and her name was Mary, and she said, "Let it be." That was
Oh,
and I find that easier to do than let it go.
yes.
It's just let it go has always kind of sparked a rebellion in me. So let it be is something I find valuable.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. I have a hard time letting go, but letting be feels possible. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. I like that.
Yeah. JJ, was there any last something you wanted to make sure you brought in?
Well, that just made me think of Mary. I'm not Catholic, but I like a lot of the Catholic practices. And there's one called Mary for Mother Mary, Undoer of Knots. And it's a painting and it's got all the knots on one side, and then she takes them apart and hands them to an angel. And it's you handing the knots. And if I can't sleep, I will say the Hail Mary and picture all my knots going up into Mary's hands where she unties them, and it comes out the other end nice and smooth, and the angel is there, and just keep following them up. Don't get too specific, just follow them up and over and up and over. And even if I don't go to sleep, it's better than the thing I was thinking about, just completely useless.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And how about you, Karen?
No, I can't think of anything else, but I just am so glad that I showed up, that my other commitment got canceled, and I thought, oh, good, I can make it to the group. So I'm so glad that I was able to be here today, and it was so glad to be here with Sue and JJ. And I hope your books are extremely successful. It certainly sounds like they ought to be.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm glad too, Karen. And also as we close out, I'm just looking around at everyone's faces and so grateful to each of you for taking the time to be here. And it really makes a difference. Your energy, whether you say anything out loud or not, we feel you, and it really makes a difference to have each of you here. And I mean, we've had a lot of heart wisdom panels, and I've loved every single one. I just think that this is one of my very favorites. I feel like one of the things that happened is that kind of transference that we were talking about earlier, that our beautiful authors are just like being, you're just here being and beaming who you are. And we feel, I feel, I imagine everyone else does, we just feel the wisdom of who you are and the heart of who you are. And I thank you so much for that, for showing up and being each of you so very present. So thank you. And Books That Save Lives, thank you, thank you, thank you. We wouldn't be here without you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And all of these heart wisdoms live on our website. So check out booksthatsavelives.net. And this one will be there in a week, but I think if they deserve to be shared. So, feel free to share those with your people because like I have over the years gotten so much from all of the heart wisdoms. And I think they have been helping me with peaceful aging.
Oh, me too. Me too. Yeah. Yeah. Deep gratitude to all of you. Oh, yeah, Duncan, the podcast is coming soon. Yay. Good. Well, we look
Thank
forward
you,
to
Sherry. As
You're
usual, you're
so welcome.
grace personified.
I love being here with all of you. Thank you. Thank you. We'll see you in a couple weeks for our Pride panel. Keep an eye out for your email from wonderful Macklin. Thank you, Macklin, for all you do. All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.